Hello Saddlers fans and welcome back to the Walsall Rewind with myself and Paul Joannou. Today we are joined by our special guest of Tom Knowles. Tom, thanks for joining us. We'll go through a lot of things with you shortly, but this time we're going to be reviewing the month of September for this second episode, where the Saddlers had 5 games. So what we're going to do is we'll go back through all of them. Tom, just run you through the format of it and just discuss our thoughts on it this time round, your thoughts on the games, and we'll start with Colchester at home. It was a 1-0 win. Hutch scored the only goal of the game, a fantastic goal. Paul, on the day, it was one of those that was a real, sort of closely fought game, wasn't it?
It was. I actually wasn't there on the day. I had a wedding, but having watched the game back, apologies. But having watched the game back, it looked like a tight affair. And a good victory for the Saddlers. I think the clean sheet was important. I think Evo made some good saves at the end as well. And what a strike from Isaac Hutchinson. And it got a lot of recognition, and rightly so. I think ITV Central picked it as their goal of the weekend as well, and got picked up elsewhere. So, rightly so. Really good strike from Hutch, and it was a very important victory at the time.
Did it feel like that for you as well, Tom? An important one just to start the month strongly?
Yeah, definitely. I think having that clean sheet as well was massive. Obviously, before that we'd conceded a few goals and we spoke as a group, and that's something that we wanted to build and improve on. So obviously a moment of magic from Hutch wins us the game, but more importantly we kept a clean sheet, which was massive boost going into the next game.
You say that clean sheet because we'd obviously been able to score plenty of goals, but there were times in the month of August where you get yourselves on top in games and then you just aren't able to stay in front. So to keep a clean sheet, like you say, was probably a massive confidence boost to the entire group.
Yeah, definitely, because there's teams that are scoring a lot of goals but conceding a lot, and that's not very sustainable. We want to be a team that defends, keeps the ball out of our net, and we know that we've got players in the team like Hutch's strike that can go win a sit. And if we're keeping a clean sheet, then the minimum we're going to get from the game is a point. So that was really important for us, and the defenders after the game were buzzing that we'd kept off our first clean sheet, and we wanted to then build on that the following week.
Because I can imagine being in that group at the time where you are scoring. It's great, obviously, to score goals, but when you've got a defensive unit like we have here, to be able to then keep that clean sheet, that if somebody pops up at the other end, like Hutch did with that bit of magic, that it probably just makes that defensive unit all the more worthwhile and collectively even more joyous at that point.
Yeah, definitely. I think going on from last season as well, as we kept a hell of a lot of clean sheets, so it was something that we wanted to bring into this season as well. And unfortunately at the start we couldn't quite do that, but we're starting to find our rhythm. People are building relationships, obviously starting a new formation now. Like it's something that we want to build on. We want to pride ourselves in keeping clean sheets, keeping the ball out of our net and putting as many in their net as possible.
Let me move on to an away game. The Saddlers were without an away victory in the league going into the one against Salford since for Boxing Day, I think it was, Swindon away in the league. So it was one of those where Salford had sort of stuttered at home as well, and we were a little bit sceptical going into it, as with the away games obviously having not won for a while. But if you'd have said to me at half time that we were going to go on and win that game, I think we said it at that point as well, that we'd have probably laughed. I'd have probably laughed at it if that was going to be the case, because the first half, admittedly from Matt Sadler as well, wasn't good enough at all. But then to come out, made 2 changes at the break. I think Ross and Rem came on and just completely changed the dynamic of the game. And then Freddie and Oshin pop up with the goals.
Yeah, that's it. I felt in that first half, I think Salford just wrestled that control early doors, didn't they? And I think Mallon, he was pulling the strings for them, and he was having a really good game. And I just felt like when the Saddlers did get the chance to have the ball, just didn't quite look after it well enough, and possession was turned over, quite a lot. And like I said, I think Salford were in control at that point, albeit not massively threatening Owen Evans' goal, because I felt defensively they really did dig in, and Matt Sadler highlighted the importance of, it became about getting to half time at 1-0, so at least the team were still in the game. So obviously the Saddlers do deserve credit for coming together, particularly at the end of that first half, to make sure, let's get in at 1-0, regroup. And that's exactly what happened. The team regrouped. Credit to Matt Sadler as well for the substitution. Sometimes you've seen it at all levels of football. Managers, they'll say, I'll give it 10 minutes, see if they do improve in the first half. But he was brave to say, I'm going to change this now. Something's clearly not working. And I felt like Ross Tierney made a difference with, obviously how he is on the ball and the pockets of space he picks up. But also I felt it stopped Mallon playing as well, and therefore Walsall were able to get a bit more control. And two terrific goals, weren't there? And, Oshin McKenty and Freddie Draper involved in both of them.
Oshin's been one of those that sort of popped up in the right place at the right time a number of times already this season. He's really come on leaps and bounds, hasn't he, in that new midfield role?
Yeah, I've obviously speaking to him, he's really enjoying it. He finished the season there, the last couple of games under the gaffer, and he's come in this season. He's got his head down. He's worked hard on learning the position, always talking to the players around him as to what he can do better and what he's doing good at. So yeah, he's been fantastic so far this season, and hopefully that continues.
It's probably been one of them as well that's been almost a surprise package to supporters. There's been a couple of question marks over him playing in that midfield role, but I think when he's not in there at the moment, we see what we miss from him, and you can see why Sads has put him in there, can't you?
I just think it offers so much balance to Walsall's midfield. I think you've got Ryan Stirk in there as well, and he's really good on the ball. Oshin McKenty, I just think he just breaks things up, Oshin, doesn't he? Breaks things up really well, but also the runs he makes as well off the ball, it causes defences a hell of a lot of problems. He's a big physical presence in there as well. So I just think he offers something completely different to the midfield that perhaps the team doesn't have.
Yeah, and he offers that physicality as well. And all of the midfielders that we've currently got are quite diminutive. They're along the same sort of lines of build-wise. When you look at Brandon Comley when he's back fit, Sturkey in there as well, Ross in there. Hutch, whilst he's a little bit taller, is probably not the physical, the physical presence that you want in there. But Osh, he's exactly that, isn't he?
Yeah, he sort of, like I say, has a bit of everything in his armoury. So yeah, going forward, like you say, he's making runs forward, he's dragging defences, taking midfielders where they don't want to go, and then going backwards. Obviously, he's been playing defence the majority of his career, so that will come second nature to him. But yeah, he's just like you say, he's a good balance in that midfield and allows Sturkey time and space to get on the ball and let him do what he does. And like say, Hutch can produce a moment of magic, and it allows him space because he's dragging 2 or 3 players away from other people's positions. So yeah, he's, like I say, it's so important just to have all 3 of them, whoever it is in there, playing off the same hymn sheet, and then yeah, like I say, they're able to do what they're good at, and I think that's really important for our team.
Then we move into another away game, Swindon Town, obviously coming up against former head coach Michael Flynn. It was an afternoon to forget for you, Tom. But before we get on to that, the goal that set the tone of the afternoon, Charlie Austin's, we spoke about it and we still speak about it. It's a Premier League quality header, isn't it?
That's it. We were talking a few days ago, weren't we? Just how they've practically got a Premier League striker at their disposal already. And, fair play to him. He showed that quality, didn't he? He managed to find that space for himself, and just that clever bit of movement, and I imagine very difficult to play against someone of that quality. And the header's brilliant. I think it's almost behind him, and he manages the neck movement to get it back across goal. I think that's what they teach you, isn't it? Head it back across goal, and it's a fantastic header. But 2 minutes into the game, but I did feel Walsall regrouped. The team, you guys regrouped really well, and settled down after that, and grew into that first half. And I think Freddie had that chance right at the end of the first half, and I felt the half-time whistle came at the wrong time for the team. Did you guys feel that?
Yeah, no, definitely. Obviously, going a goal down that early is never good, and it's something that it happened a couple of games in a row, and we spoke about that, and we wanted to eradicate that because we can't be giving teams a lift, a leg up in the first couple of minutes of the game, especially with them being at home. Gives their supporters a boost. But yeah, like I say, we sort of weathered the storm for the next 15-20 minutes. They had a bit more possession, but we knew they would. We'd done our research and seen how they've been playing. And yeah, I felt like we finished the half really strongly. And like I say, we had a couple of chances there. I think Oshin had a good shot saved from outside the box. Freddie's chance. So yeah, like I say, we were in the ascendancy, and yeah, the full half-time whistle probably did come just that 5-10 minutes too soon.
And it was 2 yellow cards for yourself. Head coach Matt Sadler said it on a couple of times now. It's almost been a stop-start season for you so far in regards to an injury, then you come back in, then it's an illness, then you come back in again, then the suspension. it must be a real frustrating start to the season for you, and then to pick up that red card for 2 big part yellows, I would say. The second one particularly didn't seem too much into it, but it must be frustrating for you at the moment.
Yeah, very, very, very frustrating, especially after coming off last year where, I played the majority of games. I wanted to hit this season running and really build on what we left off from last year. And yeah, like I said, sometimes that's football. Obviously, the injury couldn't be helped. It is what it is. And then yeah, coming in and coming out again. It's hard to get any real momentum. And obviously, I'm learning a new position this year when I've been playing at wing back. So obviously, the more games I play there, the more I learn. So yeah, it's been really frustrating start to the season for me. But hopefully now, I've served my suspension, which again I wouldn't agree with, but I'm not going to sit here and get myself into trouble and lose myself some money. But yeah, it is what it is. I can't change it. I've learnt from it. I know what I'm going to do from now on, and I'm looking forward to now really getting into the team and putting my best foot forward and helping us to a successful season.
No tantrums at that point then?
There's been a few tantrums this season, but behind closed doors. It's part and parcel of the game. It's something that I haven't really gone through before in my career, so just like anything, you've got to learn from it. You've got to take it in your stride and move on from it, because you can't change the past. You've got to look forward to the future and deal with the now.
Moving on to the next game, we were back here at the Poundland Bescott Stadium against Wimbledon. A real tough afternoon for everybody involved in the group. Taylor Allen getting a red card. It was one of those at the time that looked contentious, having slowed it down ourselves. We've seen it again. It's one of those where it looks high and it completely changes the dynamic of the game, and then Wimbledon were able to control it at that point.
Yeah, I feel like the Wimbledon game was one you kind of have to put down as a bad day at the office. I think a lot that could have gone wrong went wrong. I'm sure the team were disappointed with the performance on the day. On that red card, I think in live play a lot of people were shocked when the referee brandished the straight red card. My look at it, even on the replay, I felt what might have saved Taylor was the fact that when he went in, he sort of went backwards, so that would have took away sort of momentum and force in the challenge, because I know a lot of times they say excessive force is where they can deem it a red card. So I felt because of the way he went in, there was less excessive force. But I guess when the referee's got a decision to make, there's always that chance that they're going to make it. So it's a red card. We have to deal with it. Move on. Again, like yourself, Taylor will learn from it as well, won't he? I'm sure he will. He's still a young player himself. But yeah, obviously it changes the way you have to approach things, doesn't it? I think earlier we'd lost Priestley to injury as well, so we were already adapting at that point, so we had to adapt again. And I felt it was sliding doors as well, because Hutch just hits the crossbar with the free kick. I mean, if that drops like an inch past the line, then it's 1-1. The ball doesn't bounce back out, and then we have that incident and Taylor gets sent off. So it felt like a bit of a sliding doors moment. But again, the team responded well again, because second half come out, get the equaliser. So the team had that lift, and then we tried to rally, and then I think Wimbledon sort of regrouped themselves. They had that sort of switch, and I think from then they wrestled back control. I think the real key moment is the fact that they got the second goal so soon after our equaliser, just to take the wind out of our sails straight away. And I think they sort of learned from perhaps how they responded to the red card as well, and really did a job on seeing the game out and then killing it off with that third goal.
And whilst you don't want to have too many bad days at the office, teams are allowed to have a bad day, and obviously we get frustrations from everything, but there are days where teams are going to be off it, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And no one plans to go out and be like, I might have an off game today. Obviously we all give 100% and we want to perform to the best of our abilities out on the pitch. And I think the gaffer alluded to it afterwards, is that we probably just had 5 or 6 players that weren't quite on the ball that day, and we got punished for it. Another day, some of their players might not turn up, we go and roll them over, or it becomes a 0-0 or 1-1 draw. Not the best game, but you draw a line under it and you move on. So yeah, no, we were annoyed after that game, because obviously won the decision, and 2, we had got ourselves back into the game, but let it slip. Don't want to swear now. Let it slip after that. So yeah, we picked ourselves back up, and obviously, good thing about football is another opportunity around the corner, and that's where we have to take it.
And the goal to get ourselves back into the game from Freddie, I mean, it's a great move, but what a touch and finish from him.
Oh, it's the touches, isn't it? I love the way he touch and then, gets it out his body early doors, right into the back of the net. Goal in front of the power, and understand that, you saw his celebration as well. It meant so much to him, and real passion in that celebration. It was terrific. He's got a bit of everything, hasn't he, Freddie? Just everything you want. Proper throwback centre forward. I think that's the term Matt Sadler used, wasn't it? Throwback centre forward. And he's just been a joy to watch, hasn't he?
Yeah, he must be one of those that's a joy to play alongside, but would be a nightmare to play against.
Yeah, no, definitely no. I haven't spent too much of the time with him out on the pitch, unfortunately, as much as I would have liked to. But every time we've played together, he just offers that ball into feet if you want to play into feet. He's got no issues running channels if we want to put one in behind. Like, he's just got an all-round centre forward play, and he brings others into play as well. So, if the ball's going up to him, it's probably going to stick, and you can then get Hutch on the ball, get Sturkey on the ball, get runners off him to then go out and attack. And what he does is it'll bring 2 or 3 players towards him as well, which then leaves spaces for other people, for myself, for Gords, for Hutch, Rem, whoever's running off him. It just brings players away from him. So it is really a really big handful to play with and against, I can imagine.
Then we move into Bradford to round off the month, and you go there with a game plan against a side in front of 17,000 fans. And again, you're looking at it and going, they should have been favourites going into that one. But when the 2 team sheets came out, we actually said this could be one that, the Saddlers, if the game plan is right on the money, walk away with the 3 points. And they did so. Liam Gordon, Remy Otane and Freddie again getting the goals. And it was a pretty comprehensive and straightforward victory on the afternoon.
It was a deserved victory, I felt, from Wolves. From us, it was brilliant. A really good performance. Felt like a complete away performance. You mentioned there about Freddie, and he sort of occupies 2 players. I felt that was the case on Saturday as well. Platt and is it Stubbs? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the amount of times them 2 they couldn't cope with him, but I guess that allowed others like Liam Gordon to have even more space when he bombed forward, for example. So, I think we just got it spot on, and the response to the penalty going a goal behind, I felt was outside the box, and I think replay suggests it was outside the box. But the fact I guess it was Wimbledon flips. We equalise, Wimbledon score instead, Bradford, and then we take the sting out of that momentum, get that goal. Really good strike, right foot from Liam Gordon, would you believe? And that silences the crowd. And as the second half wore on, and it went 3-1 as well, I think the crowd started to turn. And when you came on late in the game, did you sort of feel when the crowd started to turn? Did you feel that, and did you feel that was more of an opportunity for yourselves, perhaps?
Yeah, absolutely. And even when I was warming up on the side, some of the things you're hearing being shouted on is not helpful whatsoever. So you could tell, you could just sort of smell it in the air. They just had that bit of vulnerability about them. I felt like the 2 centre halves did not want to deal with Freddie all game, and it left Ross picking up some lovely positions in the first and second half, driving at them, which that's where Ross is at his best. And like I say, 3 very good goals as well. Obviously, Gord's had a good cross and managed to go in, and obviously a great finish from Gord's, a great set piece routine for the second and third goals. So yeah, we're delighted with that, and it's one of them where people might now look at us and be like, well, hang on a minute, they've just gone to Bradford, beaten them very, not easily, that's probably the wrong word, but convincingly, yeah, to go and be like, right, well, they've had a couple of bad results, but when this team are on it, they're at the races. So that's all we want to do. We'll look forward to the next game now tomorrow night, and hopefully build on that 3 points, and by the end of the week, who knows where we could be in the league.
Yeah, it's one of them where if you can build on that type of Bradford performance. We say it all the time, but momentum is so key in football. And if you work in sort of blocks of games, as we are month by month at the moment, if you can pick up points away from home and then make your home ground a fortress, it's one of those where all of a sudden you start climbing the table ever so slowly. A phrase Ben Boycott uses an awful lot is that incremental progression. If you can do that at that point, then teams slowly start to notice you knocking a place up the table every now and again, and that's what seems to be happening here at this point.
That's it. I think it's just about picking up points consistently, isn't it? Your draws and your wins, just consistently picking up points. I think an issue I've noticed over my 4 and a bit years at the club is it seemed to be run rather than just results here and there. So it would be a good month where the team would pick up points regularly, but then it would be followed up by a run of 5, 6, 7 without a win. So I think what I found this season, there's been no sort of 3, 4 games of consistent block of results. It's been win, draw here and then a defeat, but then bounce back. It's been a bit like that. So I feel like it's been steady. So if you steadily pick up points, you will make progress in this league. So it is about building on that, and I think the team have had a good record at the Pound and Bescot Stadium. I'd probably say since probably the back end of 2022 or early 2022. I feel like there's been very few defeats in the league at the Pound and Bescot Stadium. So clearly something is working here at home. And in your time here, Tom, I guess you felt you've had a good home record.
Yeah.
What is it about playing at home that seems to suit the team?
The support for one is brilliant. They sort of attract the ball into that end when we're shooting that way second half, and just the joy of winning a corner, the joy of winning the throw in, it gives everyone a lift. It gives you the belief of we can go and score now. And I think that happened in the Wimbledon game. Even though we were down to 10 men, we still had the oomph, to the drive to go and get that goal. And obviously the scenes afterwards is brilliant, and we're in the ascendancy then, and that's why it was frustrating to concede that second goal. But yeah, it's just, I feel like we get a lot of joy at home, and I feel like we can go and express ourselves, and we get a lot of freedom to go and do that. Obviously the onus is on us to go and win the game because we're the home team, and we can't always win. We understand that, but as long as we give something the supporters to be proud of, to go home and enjoy their weekends on, then that's what we want to do.
And then from all of those games, Paul, from the comments we had in the last Walsall Rewind, Colin Moss suggested who would be our man of the matches from games, but we'll take it one further for ourselves to say, who do we think the player of the month was for September? There's some good mentions in there, but for you, who would it be?
Ooh. It's got to be Freddie Draper, hasn't it? I think it's 3 goals in his last 4 in September. He's just really hit that ruthless run of form, hasn't he? And I think he would have had a frustrating August missing the first 2 games, and I think in a lot of the games in August he was coming off 60, 70, then 80 as he was building up his fitness. But I think you can see now he's at full throttle, isn't he? And it's probably an obvious choice with the goals he scored, but he's been outstanding for me.
Yeah, Sad has said it a couple of times as well. It's one of those where he looks absolutely dead on his feet at one point, but then he just goes again.
Yeah.
And he seems to constantly do it, and I think I would agree with you that he would be my player of the month as well for September, because of what he offers to the team, not just the goals that he scored, but because of what else he does. Salford, the build-up to Oshin's goal, the build-up to Rossi's chance where he tries to chip it over the goalkeeper. He just adds a bit of everything to the team, doesn't he?
He does. He uses his body well. He brings others into play. I remember, I think it was his assist for Danny Johnson's goal against Stockport in his first game as well. Just that bit of quality in delivery as well. He's got the lot, and he's like I said, a real throwback centre forward, and he's got a lot of qualities. And I can't believe he's only 19. You just can't, can you, when you watch him?
No, he's brilliant. Hopefully Lincoln aren't watching this, because we'll have him for the season, please. But no, yeah, Freddie's been phenomenal this season. I want to say as well, I think Sturkey's been probably underrated, not underrated, but goes unnoticed a little bit, because he just keeps the team ticking. He'll pass the ball, and he might not play the most amazing passes, but what he does in the team is really important. I think has been vital to that success that we've had in controlling games in the midfield, and organising the midfield around him. So yeah, although Freddie gets my vote. Sturkey's had a very good month as well.
There's been some good goals in there as well. We picked one last month. Paul, your goal of the month for September?
Isaac Hutchinson. Terrific strike. Special mention to the two at Salford as well. I think in their own, particularly the first one, because I loved the cross and the bullet header from Freddie as well, but my vote will go for Hutchinson, September, against Colchester.
So I'm actually going to go for Liam Gordon's. Whilst you joked that it's a cross, the angle that we got given from Bradford themselves, where it shows from behind the goal, it's pinpoint accuracy into that bottom corner, and as a weak foot finish as well, it was pretty impressive from him.
Yeah, not a bad celebration either. I think he had about 3 celebrations in one night. So. No, I was right behind Hutch's strike at home. So I'm gonna say Hutch's as well, because that once it was hit, it stayed hit, and it was perfect straight into that top corner.
So it's been busy elsewhere in the football club for the month of September. We'll start with the commercial department as we welcomed our official charity partners, Acorn Children's Hospice, for our home game against Wimbledon as one of their designated charity games of the season. It was great to see them raise over £1,600 on the day, so we'd like to thank everybody who kindly donated it in the Bring a Pound to the Ground scheme there for that one. It's also great to see how well the restaurant is doing on a match day. The numbers are significantly up on what they were last season at this point, so if you would like to book any hospitality for the games coming into October, please just call the ticket office or get in touch with the commercial department and they'll be able to help you out further with that one. In the conference and events department as well, they've been incredibly busy, as we mentioned, in the month of August, moving into September as well, in the build-up to Christmas. There's a large part of their events now that have sold up in a build-up to Christmas Day, but there are still some availability for nights such as the Ultimate Boy Band Evening and a Christmas with the Players, which will be including all of the squad and all of the coaching staff. The Christmas with the Players evening looks set to be a really good one here at the Poundland Bescott Stadium on Thursday, the 7th of December. If you want more information on that night, contact our conference and events team at events@walsallfc.co.uk. So that is everything pretty much off the pitch in regards to that. So Tom will come on to more about you as a person, as your career. Let's go right back to the start of the footballing career now for you at Cambridge. Talk us through what it was like for you at that point starting there. Have you always wanted to be a professional footballer?
Yeah, and to be honest, I thought that opportunity has diminished when I turned 16, 17, as I wasn't in an academy. I was playing for Newmarket Town at that time, doing a college scholarship with Cambridge United, looking to becoming a coach, and that way through football. And it was just so that the youth team at the time at Cambridge had a few players short, and they looked within the club and saw that I was doing well in the college team and got given a chance. And now manager at Cambridge, Mark Bonner, he was the youth team manager at the time, and he said, yeah, we want to sign you and give you the chance to earn a professional contract, just as the rest of the scholars have. And yeah, from then I thought that I've got probably one chance at this. Why not give it your all and go out and see what you can do? And thankfully I earned myself a contract, and since then I've just been building from there, really.
Do you have to change anything at that point? You say you get given the opportunity to then go and earn yourself a professional contract. Whilst you're playing football at youth level, do you then have to change diets, the way you look at things in life, the way that you apply yourself? Not saying that you didn't apply yourself at that point, but do you then have to change the way you completely look at what is this fantastic opportunity for you?
Yeah, definitely. And at that time I'd missed the deadline, so I wasn't getting paid, I wasn't getting college education as well. I had to do that on the side by myself. So yeah, I think all them things sort of shape you, and it gives you that working mentality that, okay, I've got the same opportunity as everyone else. I might not be in the same position as everyone else, but I want to come out of this and with my head held high. So I just gave it everything. I tried to change as much as I could to give myself the best opportunity of perhaps becoming a professional footballer.
Would you have worked with assistant head coach Gary Waddock at that point in the early stage? I think it was the 2020 season. What's it like working again with a familiar face?
Yeah, no, really good. When I saw the announcement, I was really happy. I only worked with Gaz for 3 or 4 months of the season. As halfway through that year, that's when I moved down to Yeovil. But as soon as I saw him on the first day of training, it was like we'd never been apart. We'd had a nice catch up, speaking about, and obviously it's nice to know that someone's coming in and he knows what I can do. So yeah, it was really encouraging seeing a familiar face come through the door and knowing what he's like and how he works. It is something that aligns with how I like to work. Is honest, is straight to the point, and he'll tell you if you're doing good and he'll tell you if you're doing bad. So that's really helpful as a player because there's an honesty there, and he'll praise you when you're good and he'll tell you if you need to pull your finger out.
Obviously, Cambridge is sort of an area close to where you grew up, isn't it? So obviously, just looking at your sort of time there in the few seasons you had, it looked like a handful of appearances here and there, as you tried to break into the team. But then obviously you left to join Yeovil, and that's where you really started playing games regularly, wasn't it? Just how tough was that decision for you to obviously sort of leave an area you're familiar with, and then obviously have to drop out of the EFL to sort of work your way back? How sort of tough was that decision initially for you?
Yeah, it was huge. It was big, and I think I only had about 3 hours to decide if it's something that I wanted to do. Because when I was at Cambridge, I'd been out on 8 loans whilst I was there because I was of the opinion of I just want to play football. I'd train all week, and if I didn't have a game at the end of it, I felt like it was wasted. I went on plenty of loans, and it got to a time of the season where I'd played in the cup competitions, but we'd been knocked out of all of them. I wasn't playing in the league, so I thought, I might need a fresh start here. I asked to go out on loan. That then turned into a permanent move down to Yeovil, and like I say, it's 3 hours. I think I got the call at 12, and by 3 I'd agreed to go down, and by 6 o'clock I was on the M25 on my way down to Yeovil, and obviously it was during lockdown at that point, so saying goodbye to everyone was quite hard. Moving down there in a hotel room by myself in unfamiliar surroundings, it was hard, and the start of it was really tough, questioning if I'd made the right decision or not. But obviously, touch wood, thankfully, it all worked out in the end, and had 2 very good years there. Probably one of my most enjoyable years. They're great people, great club. And I can't thank Darren Sowell, who brought me down there, enough, because without him and the opportunity he gave me, then I wouldn't be here today.
I was going to say, you mentioned, I think it was when you joined us, how big a step it was to move yourself out of the Football League, because some players can find it incredibly daunting to do that. The Football League is where everybody wants to be playing as a professional footballer, the Football League or the Premier League, but to then take that step away from it to get yourself more game time, and you say it was some of the most enjoyable years. I think you scored 10 goals in the 21-22 season. It proved to be a very worthwhile decision for you in the end.
Yeah, definitely. I think when I spoke to the manager there when I first moved, he was like, this isn't a backward step, it's a sideways step. He said, this is going to be the next point in your career. You've hit your ceiling at Cambridge. Okay, move to the side and see how high he can take you there. And that was so true. So yeah, again, he was massive for me. Moving away from home, I think, as hard as it was, maybe helped a little bit, because you don't have the distractions of your mates asking if you want to go out, this, that, and the other. I had my missus back home, and she was fantastic. She helped me with the move down there, and obviously we made it work as much as we could. And then like the next move to here was one that I felt like I was ready for at the time, and thankfully the manager and the owners felt like it was a good investment to bring me to the club. So for that, I'm thankful and very grateful for.
I was going to say, his first seasons go at a club. Yours was, pretty spot on. You mentioned earlier on, playing a large majority of games with 52 appearances in all competitions, 5 goals, plenty of learning experiences in there for you. There was a new role for you, moving into that wing back role. I think, one of the first games that I can remember you in, it was Wickham away in the cup. It was at that point where, do you now look back on that and feel that those experiences of last season have improved you as a player and as a person?
Yeah, 100%. You know, we had some really good times last year, and I think because of the way the season ended, probably foggied if that's a word. Like, sort of just clouded over them times. And like I say, we had Wickham away. The whole FA Cup run was brilliant. You know, the supporters gave something them to cheer out. We had a great day here against Leicester. So all the experiences from last year, playing football back in the league and playing 52 games in my first season there, you know, that was massive for me. And you know, I just want to play football, whether that's at wing back, left back, up front, you know, wherever it is, I'll always try my hardest and do my best for the team. So yeah, no, I really enjoyed last season, and I think that adds to the frustration for this season. Is I just wanted that to continue, and at the minute it's just been a bit stop-start. But hopefully, like I say, from now we can really kick on and finish strong.
So you mentioned those experiences you've had on the pitch here. You know, it was a really fruitful year for yourself. What about off the field? Have you sort of settled in the West Midlands? You know, you've moved up here now.
Yeah.
How are you finding the area and things like that? You really settled here?
Yeah, very. I mean, got spotted at Audi the other day, which you know, I like to. You know, when we get days off, I like to go out and just see some of the areas around. And you know, the fans have been brilliant. You know, I like to think I'm quite approachable, and yeah, so the fans have always come up asking for photos and asking questions, and I love that, because it just gives you that relationship, that connection of you're who I'm playing for in a way. It's like you're the reason why I want to go out and make a tackle, score a goal. You know, it's been really good. I've loved the local area. Obviously, last year I was travelling a little bit more, but now this year I'm moved into a house around the area, and it's a lovely little place. Got a shout out. I went to Cannock the other day and I met a lad with a dog called Nigel, and Nigel's become a bit of a joke between us. So shout out Nigel, because I don't think he likes him too much, but he gave me a lot of attention, and my missus was obsessed with him. So yeah, shout out Nigel.
But I suppose that connection with the fans is a really important thing to have for anybody who pulls the shirt on, and you seem to have really hit it off at that moment, and that can really make you feel loved and wanted at a club, can't it?
Absolutely. You know, I'm still young. I'm gonna learn. Get your words out. I'm gonna make mistakes, and I'm still learning. And nobody's perfect, because otherwise I'd be in the Premier League if I'd never made a mistake. But yeah, the connection with the fans is brilliant. They've been first class to me from Bradford away last season when I first heard that chant, and you know, it's been sort of a mainstay and something that I look forward to hearing if I do well on a Saturday. But even like when Oliver came in and he'd been ill that day, and I get a few letters from fans and that, it's really nice, and it just makes me feel like I can give something back more than just on the pitch. Is having that connection off the pitch. It sort of warms your heart a little bit. It's thinking we're human beings too. We're not just robots out there on a football pitch. We wanna give back more than just out there. We're invested in the community as well.
Do you think that helps you as a player then when you move to a new club? If you immediately buy into the philosophy of what the club is, you know, we pride ourselves as a football club being a real community club, and the work that the foundation do is absolutely fantastic. So do you think as a player, the moment you move in, to be able to go out then and do stuff in the community, whether it's down at Acorns Children's Hospital, whether it's at the Manor Hospital at Christmas time, whether it's welcoming supporters up to the training ground, do you think that then helps you settle into the environment of the club?
Yeah, absolutely, because like I say, you get to know people on a casual terms of a face-to-face of, I'm Tom, I'm not just a face, a name, a number out there. I'm a human being, and I want to get to know you and talk to you as well. So yeah, that's really important, and I feel like fans appreciate that a lot more as well, rather than just, right, you're at Walsall now, I'll probably be somewhere else in 2 years' time. No, I don't want to be that sort of person. I want to, if I ever leave this club, is that, you know, Tom Knowles, he was a really nice person. He was a okay footballer, and but yeah, he was a nice person, and he cared about people, because that's really important to me. Because there's a lot of negativity out there, and you can get yourself wound up with reading comments online or people shouting things in heats of the moment and stuff like that. But there's a bigger picture to that, and if you can spread positivity, then why not?
That's bang on. And I think we go back to you making 52 appearances last year. We got asked by a fan on the comment section of the last Rewind. Walsall fan Dan said about the top 3 stadiums that you would have played in at any point in your career. Can you name a top 3 that you would have got fond memories of, that were the most impressive at that point?
Here, number 1.
Tick, well done.
Yeah. Here's number 1. Youth Cup, we didn't win, but we played Brighton away, and that's obviously a brand new, lovely stadium, change rooms the size of Tesco's, huge. And then, third one, Bradford was a great one, and even better that we went there and won, because you got all them people that you've annoyed. It's brilliant, and you've got 500 Walsall fans in a corner sing their heart out all game and having one of the best days out, and it's chucking down with rain. So it's probably them 3 are my top.
What about you, Paul? We've obviously travelled the length and breadth of the country covering the club. If you could name 3 League 2 grounds, I'm not going to say you've got to name Old Trafford because we know you would, but if you went in for 3 League 2 grounds that you've been to, what would be your top 3?
Just current League 2 or any that
we've covered.
Oh, okay. Obviously, Bradford has to be up there. It's a massive. It's a real old school stadium as well. The 2 big stands and the old stand behind the goal as well. I quite like the quirkiness of that. And when it's rocking and it's full, they get a really good atmosphere going. I think there was a game. Last season as well. From their perspective, when they went 2-0 up, the atmosphere was rocking and it was like, wow. It takes you aback a bit. So Bradford, I really loved AFC Wimbledon last year. I thought it was a lovely ground, brand new. It's quite small, but it was just. I thought it was a very nice setup. I really liked AFC Wimbledon's ground. I think it was the COVID season. We went to Bolton again. My childhood, Bolton were a Premier League side. So my memories of Bolton is them being in the Premier League. So I'd have to say, and then again, I've just thought Blackburn as well. Obviously played there this season. That again, my childhood, Blackburn in the Premier League. So watching Premier League games, seeing Blackburn, and again, that's an old school stadium. So sorry Bolton, it's Blackburn. So Bradford, Wimbledon, and Blackburn. Yeah,
I think you're right with Blackburn because you grow up watching them at the top level, and you think, well, to go to a game as a supporter to watch it there is fantastic. But then to go behind the scenes as we get to do on a match day, Blackburn is definitely up there for me. In my first season, I did Sunderland twice. That was absolutely amazing. And if you go up there as a football fan, you're literally welcomed into the community immediately because football's so big up there, and that was absolutely amazing. And I actually love this stadium. I'm going to follow suit with Knowles here, just for the pure fact of, I think it's a really good setup, and most people who, if you're a football fan, if you're going up and down the country, you know this stadium because you pass it on the M6. It's one of those, and I do think it is a really nice stadium. I think it's well maintained at points. I think there's been improvements over the last couple of years in the vomitories, in the hub and the supporter zones, and I just think it's one of those where if you can see a stadium trying to make progression, it just then takes it to the next level as well. But there are some very good stadiums that we've been to as well.
Yeah, I'd just like to get it on record. I thought it was just stadiums we'd visited. That's why I didn't say.
Visits this one every day for work.
I was born at Manor Hospital.
Supports Man United, by the way.
Yeah. That's my dad's fault, not mine. But the fact that I come here and work every day just gives me a lot of pride. And obviously, this is my favourite stadium in League Two. It's just out of the away ones that's what I was saying. But no, I love this place.
Now, Tom, we've heard you like a bit of geography when I asked you what your specialist subject would be a couple of weeks ago, and we decided that you were going to be coming on this. You chose geography, so we've got 10 countries for you here, and we want to see how will you get on with giving us the capital cities of those? If you do well in the first 10, we've picked 5 that are ever so slightly more difficult. So let's see how many of these you can get right out of 10 to start us off
I
with.
might live to regret this. Man.
I'll try and start you nice and easy. What's the capital city of England?
No, London.
Perfect. There's one.
Not Walsall.
Capital city of Spain.
Oh, it's Madrid.
It's 2. Well done.
Yeah, Madrid and Barcelona, they just because of the football, it froze my mind. But yeah, Madrid.
Number 3, the capital city of Russia.
Oh, Moscow.
Yes, well done.
That's so obvious.
Number 4, what is the capital city of Brazil?
Brasilia. Yeah.
Straight off the bat.
Trick question.
Yes.
That is a trick question.
I think a lot of people will go for Rio.
Rio. Yeah.
Number 5, what is the capital city of Switzerland?
Vienna. No, that's Austria. That's Austria. Oh. I know it.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Zurich.
No.
Oh. What is it?
Bern.
Oh. Damn Bern.
Number 6, what is the capital city of Kenya?
Kenya. Nairobi.
Yeah, well done. Nice and easy. Straight in with that
yeah.
one. Number 7, what is the capital city of Peru?
Christ. I don't even tell you. See, the inside of me is saying Machu Picchu, but that's just ridiculous.
Paul, do you want to help him out?
Go on.
Lima.
Yeah.
Ah,
Bob on.
nice.
Well done. He was very good at these the other day.
Oh, yeah.
He was
Yeah.
incredible at them the other day.
We'll have a face-off one day.
Number 8, what is the capital city of Iceland?
Oh, I'm going to butcher this. Reykjavik.
Yeah, bang
ask
on
him to spell it?
Well, you can try and spell it if you want.
I know there's a J, a K in there, and starts with an R, so
Yeah.
that's my...
Yeah, we're not far off it. Number 9, what's the capital city of Bulgaria?
Oh, I know that. I should know this. Sofia.
Yeah, well
Yeah.
done. And then at number 10, what's the capital city of Bolivia?
You got me. Not a Scooby. I can even give you a guess.
It's La Paz.
Never heard of
No.
it. No, it's not a
Do you-
real place. Never heard of it.
Do you want the bonus 5?
Go on, why not? I'll give it.
Capital city of Mozambique.
Yeah. Was it on James Bond?
No
Oh.
idea. It's Maputo.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I hadn't heard of it either.
Not a clue.
Capital city of Benin.
Nah. Yeah, you've got me.
See, I told you
You've
these
got
were-
me.
Porto Novo.
Yeah, no, never heard of it.
Capital city of Estonia.
Oh,
He got this.
it's
Paul got this really quickly.
Estonia. See, I've just got one in my head, but it's Ukraine, so it's not going to be that. But Estonia.
Don't think too hard.
Nah.
Tallinn.
Tallinn. Nah.
Capital
that's
city of Kosovo.
That was only a country about 5 years ago. Jeez. Yeah, no, I wouldn't have a Scooby. I don't even
Paul?
want to.
Oh, Pristina?
That's the one.
Christina. Yeah, no,
I don't know how I know that.
no, that's.
And then-
that is.
The final one was, what is the capital city of Barbados?
Nah.
Done. Bridgetown.
Oh, there you go.
So not
There
too
you
bad.
go.
I think I got 7.
I'll take 7 out of 10.
Yeah,
Of
that's,
the
the
original
it's a
ones.
respectable score.
Yeah, that's.
Solid.
I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but it's better than.
It's better than I was
nothing.
expecting. I'm not.
Oh,
gonna...
thanks. From Cambridge, I've been to university.
Oh,
No, absolutely not.
But again, moving back into things, Tom, thanks very much for joining us today. We'll just round things off by saying October's going to be another busy month for Matt Sadler and the team, with 7 games coming up in total. We've got a number of ticket offers on offer at the moment available to supporters, including our Friend for a Fiver deal, which is in place for the Gillingham game on Saturday the 14th of October, where season ticket holders and members can bring a friend for a £5 to that game. We've also got the Flexi ticket offer, which is still available to supporters. The offer entitles you to come to 6 home games of your choice throughout the remainder of the season. For more information on all of the offers that are currently on offer to you, including our membership packages, head over to the ticketing tab on our official website. Tom, like I say, thank you very much for joining us for today's Walsall Rewind for September. Paul, thanks again for joining us. If you want to see anybody else on the Walsall Rewind for the month of October, let us know in the comment section who you want to join us in the next one, whether that's a member of coaching staff. I know Dan Watson was highly requested at one point because I think he'd be a great character to have on. But if you want anybody on next time, just let us know in the comment section. And as a top 3, let us know what you want to hear from as well next time. Thank you very much for joining us today. And as always, up the Saddlers.